if you want.
It started. Okay.
All right. On one. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ole Noodle podcast. It is August 8th, 2015. Over here on the East Coast, it is now 11. So, hey, we started it pretty damn perfect. And then, of course, over in the, mountain?
Southwest.
Yeah, whatever. It's,
It's Mountain Standard Time, so
so what is it, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. So it's early for him, not so early for me. But yeah, so again, welcome. If I didn't butcher that enough. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So I know last episode we talked about our likes and dislikes of Windows 10. And so I finally got my desktop. I didn't do the push or, like the forced Windows update, like, the actual Windows update through the OS was like, hey, here's your Windows 10. Let's get started. I'm like, yeah, excellent, great. So go through. It takes about 35 to 40 minutes. I mean, everything is just silky smooth. Transition went really well. And so about a couple of days later, Luke and I mean, you and I, we're playing some Rocket League. And I mean, if you watch any of our videos, which have we put any videos up?
Not yet. I'm
Not
slacking.
yet? Okay,
I'm
well,
slacking.
once you start seeing the bevy of Rocket League videos come out, you'll see how passionate we are about the game. But we're like in the heat of battle, like in the heat of the moment, and all of a sudden, I just get this nice blue screen with the little frowny face. I wouldn't call it an emoticon. Like it's literally just the
colon and the
characters.
parentheses.
Yeah. Yeah, of the frowny face, and yeah, I got the nice blue screen of death essentially, and so obviously like that brought me back to messing with the Windows 10 preview builds because I would get those every now and again, and especially like once my computer started tanking on the last preview build that I did before the actual release, I got it. So immediately, like, my heart sank, and I was like, well, this is it. My computer will no longer run now. And so, yeah, so it's just one of those things where I'm like, great, this is over. So, but fortunately, I restarted it, which I had talked to you, and I was like, I just got this blue screen, and you're just like, well, you're
Probably gonna roll back.
yeah, you're fluffed, buddy. Like, you're gonna have to roll back to Windows 7 and all. And I'm like, oh god, like, no, I don't want to do all this. Like, so anyway, I restarted it, praying that I wasn't gonna have to do that. And fortunately, I didn't have to. It fired right back into it. But fast forward to probably 20 minutes ago, and we're getting everything set up for this morning for the podcast. And we're in a Skype call. We hadn't really set too much stuff up yet, and we're talking, and you're talking to me, and then all of a sudden, just radio silence. So I'm looking at you through through the webcam or whatever, and you're just going on, just jabbering along, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here and I'm messing with the volume controls. Volume controls are responsive. It's giving me the volume and everything, and I just can't hear anything. So I guess you could hear me though, right? Like,
I could for a bit, and then you dropped too.
Then I dropped
and
too.
I saw
Okay.
your mouth moving, but
yeah. So essentially, what happened? Because you hung up the call,
I did.
and when I called you back, and I guess maybe you went to go pick it, or I don't even know. Did it even cue you that I was calling back in? Okay, so it rang like 2 times, and then it just goes, playback device is not functioning. And I'm like, oh god. So then I knew, I was like, okay, well, this is Windows 10 like crashing on me again.
Right.
But a couple things to point out that I guess in the end I wasn't too surprised, because what was happening when we were talking, I was trying to move around, and just telltale signs of the preview build were showing up. Like, my notifications bubble in the bottom. Yeah, like you could click it, nothing would happen. My window or my start screen was popping up, which was different. from the preview build that just tanked.
Right.
But you would go to click on something in the start menu, and again, just no response, or you would get like a half second of the loading wheel on your cursor, and then it would just go back to a normal cursor. So what it was is, I guess it was queuing up. It was trying to operate, but then what it was is it was just getting ready to take a huge shit on it, which it did.
I was
But
gonna say at least you didn't get as unlucky as I did because I had to roll back to Windows 7 on my home theater PC. Is it
well, you
blue
say
screened and
that,
then I could
yeah.
never get it to log in. I even did tried safe mode and it still wouldn't even go into safe mode.
Wow. Well, you
Yeah.
say that, and I don't know, like I probably just need to roll back, and I probably just don't ever need to install Windows 10.
Yeah.
Like,
Until you upgrade your PC.
yeah, which it's very weird to me because I don't know, and I think really the root of the root source of everything is my hard drive. That
Just
thing has
old.
been written and rewritten so many times, and not to mention, like, not just data, but operating systems.
Right. How long have you had it?
I had Windows 7, and then not long after that, Windows 8 came out, which I bought Windows 8. They had like a special price for reserving it, essentially.
Right.
Irrelevant, but got Windows 8, installed that. Um,
And then did the
update
Windows 10 preview.
Yeah, and then, well, not to mention, oh, sorry, I did the preview for 8 as well. So I had 7, 8 preview, 8, 10 preview. And not to mention that during the course of those operating systems, I was having to roll back in certain
Right.
situations. So this thing has had, like, I mean, yeah, it's only had about 3 different flavors of operating systems, but
Nine different times.
the amount of times that it's had those different operating systems on it, and it's just I've only had one hard drive in this thing. It's a 1 terabyte hard drive. I've only had the one hard drive in it, and that's it. And I've never changed it. The only other type of hard drive that's been hooked up to this was to save my music and my movies, and that's external. Like that
Right.
wasn't yeah. So it's I never had anything other than that type of material on an external hard drive. So essentially, what will need to happen is I'll just need to put a new, larger hard drive in this, and then essentially what I'll have to do is I'll just have to like ghost
Yeah, I
everything
say
onto the
just
new hard
parse
drive.
and then just partition the one that you have and just
Yeah,
use it
or
for
if
extra
anything,
storage.
yeah, if I could, if I could get an SSD and have the, because
Operating system on that,
yeah,
storage on the other, like I got
yeah,
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, probably the best way to go.
Which
But
brings me to a new point. My other computer that does not have an SSD in it
mhm.
boots is about as fast as my SSD does.
Yeah, but I mean, what all do you have going on that other PC versus what you have going on in this one?
True. One's the
You
gaming
know?
PC and it has a lot more
Yeah,
stuff going on
yeah,
than this one.
yeah. I mean, if it's your, because what is it? Your home? Is it your home theater?
No, it's actually my stream PC that boots just as fast as my gaming PC. My gaming PC's
Right, but I
got the
mean, okay.
SSD in it.
So leading into my next question, like, so besides your streaming applications, what all else do you have going on?
Skype, that's it.
Okay, well, there's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
nothing really. I mean, there's nothing on this computer.
yeah, because you have to think of like startup applications and all that good stuff. You have to think about, I mean, just so much background, and there's other things that'll like start launching background,
Right.
stuff. So yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. So hopefully that's not the case that I'll have to roll back to Windows 7 and um,
Yeah, I'm moving it up here. Sorry.
it's all right. I'm just looking at of course I can't remember her name now. Jackie.
Oh yeah, do you
Looking
see
at
her?
Jackie walking back and forth like she's looks like she's in distress.
Yeah, she's probably wanting to go out, but that's okay. It's not my job this morning.
Oh, whoa, well. But
Anyway,
yeah.
sorry about
So
that.
hopefully that won't be the case where I'll have to roll back to 7 or whatever.
Well, I mean, you've
That I
had
can
quite a
just
bit of problems with this computer, like with the whole motherboard issue that you had going for a while, and
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? I think, and you called it out earlier. I think it
An
was,
OS problem.
yeah, I think it was preview. I think it was preview that was screwing up a lot of the drivers and how a lot of that stuff was, and how it was just operating.
Right,
Period.
right.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I now I haven't tried because like I said, the first thing that went out or that was not functioning properly on one of the preview builds was the um, network, like the Ethernet ports, like
Hmm.
the network card on the motherboard went out first, and trying to hijack you.
Well, I just feel like Kelly's gonna get up soon, so
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
yeah.
But yeah, so I actually haven't tried plugging the cable back into the old, like to the motherboard soldered network card. I mean, at this point, I don't feel like there's a need,
Right, I don't think so either.
and I've spent like $10 on this other, so I might as well get my $10 use out of it.
Right,
But which I mean, it works just as fast, if not faster, than the one that was on the motherboard anyway. So it's
right.
not like it really matters. But yeah, so
Windows 10,
that was my
new
Windows 10 experience.
experience.
Now I will say, so that's my dislike.
Okay,
Here's my like.
all right.
Um, so yesterday or no, was it? Maybe it was Thursday. It was either Thursday or Wednesday. I got home and it had really been curious. Like I'd really been curious since I had done the upgrade to both the laptop and the desktop, how the game streaming worked.
Oh yeah,
So I've screw it. I've got to give this a try. So, um, you know, Nat type aside, I went ahead and I put a Ethernet cord to the Xbox
Xbone.
One into the router because I didn't dare try anything multiplayer. I
Right.
was like, I want to see if just a single player game works. So I wire up the Xbox One, and then I get my laptop, which is now which is wireless because I don't have a long enough
Mm-hmm.
um,
Cord to go through the living
cord.
room.
Yeah, yeah, and it would just be in the way everywhere. So I get that, and I move it into the next room. Like it's literally there's just one wall dividing um, the connection from the router from the router to the laptop. So I get in there and I hook it up, and about that time you were like, "Are you getting on?" And then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna try this first." So I hook everything up, and I first I run the connection, the like test your stream
Right,
connection.
right.
So it runs for God probably a good solid 3 minutes. Like it just sat there and I was like, okay, well apparently this doesn't work
Yeah,
now.
it's not
So that's
not gonna
great.
work. Right.
Yeah, so finally, like, and I'm walking back and forth because I'm still having to like set things up in both rooms and things like that. And so finally, it comes back, and there's just like this 3x2 grid, and in the right, or excuse me, in the left column, it has low, medium, high, and then in the right column, just all red X's. So I'm like, well, I gave it a shot. Like, it's probably not going to work, but you know, curious me, I'm like, nope. You know what? Screw it. I want to see how bad it really is. So I go ahead and I go through, and I'm like, go ahead and launch the stream. I connected my Xbox One controller because that's the thing. I thought maybe it would still like if you had batteries or a rechargeable battery pack or whatever in your controller, it would possibly still read off of your console. But
Okay.
I guess because of certain people's setups, they don't know how far away your controller may be away from your console. So
So you did have to connect it to the
you
PC.
do still have to connect it to your computer that is streaming,
Okay.
or like that, or excuse me, that it's streaming to.
Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, so I had to go and I grabbed that because it was like yeah, you need to connect a controller. So I did that, and lo and behold, like there was my desktop on the TV because I hooked up the HDMI cable and all that good stuff. Which I mean, again, you could just as easily like do it on your laptop too. It's not like you
Sure.
have to have a TV connected to a computer or a
Right.
laptop, especially. Anywho, so I see it. I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty cool. This is all right, but it's just the
The menu.
yeah,
Sure.
it's just the home menu. Like this isn't anything. So I had GTA 5 in my console, so I'm like, all right, well, single player game. I have other single player games like on my hard drive, but I was like, why not? Like, let's just
Sure,
throw
it's
in GTA
there.
real quick. So I load that up, and so the Rockstar logo, starts flashing up and everything is just running smooth, and I'm like, oh man, like this
But
is
it's
working.
still a menu.
Right, and I'm like, but I'm not going to get my hopes up because it's the opening credits or whatever. Like it's just the Rockstar logo with some red and blue flashing back, lights in the background and siren wailing.
Right.
And then, of course, as everyone knows who plays GTA 5, I got to sit through about 3 minutes of
The
load
game
menus.
loading, yeah.
Yeah, so I sit there and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and finally, like it starts up and I'm in Michael's house, and I'm like, all right, here we go, and like I move forward on the thumbstick, and like
Instantaneous.
instant, like the feedback from the controller to the stream is, I mean, and I think we kind of talked about this, but it's not. I'm positive it's not one for one,
Yeah, that's what I
but
said. Like it's like a
it is so
millisecond.
minuscule that
Yes.
you don't even notice, and it's definitely playable. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just walking. Let's get in a car.
Mm,
So I get in a car. Now I will say that while it was running very well, it probably is safe to say that I was getting maybe 30 frames per second.
okay.
So anybody that's, and again, keep in mind this is a wireless router to laptop with a wired Xbox One to router setup.
Right.
So so yeah, I was probably guesstimating it looked like I was getting about 30 frames per second. The driving in a vehicle seemed a bit slippery at
Okay.
times, if you know
Okay.
what I like, because you know how sometimes like with a little bit of latency and stuff, your car will kind of just like slip and slide around everywhere.
Right.
But not all the time. Like I said, this is definitely playable. Like
Okay.
I drive all the way to the airport, and I'm like, well, let me just load up a flight training school real quick. So I go in there and I load up the first thing, get in an airplane. Like all of this is running very fine, and I only dropped frame one time. When I got to the airport, it dropped frame. It dropped a few frames pretty badly, but it was quick to respawn. Like it's not like it just kind of sat there. It would just be, it's kind of like when you would experience like one little
Lag
1 to 2 frame, yeah, in a laggy game. Uh, Overall, very, very, very surprised with how the experience was.
Now, see, I
Uh,
haven't actually tested it, like I said before, except for the menus.
mhm.
So, like, I
Yeah.
actually haven't actually played a game, sat down. I'm excited to see how the multiplayer aspect would work.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like
Because you shouldn't be using bandwidth, because your home network shouldn't run off of your ISP's bandwidth settings. It should run
well,
off
no,
of
but you
your
have to
link
think
connection.
right, but then you have to start thinking of your transfer speeds though,
Right.
which again, with it being wireless, if your Xbox was wireless and your stream was wireless, you would probably run into an issue. Now where you're going, again, where your wired setup is going into the router, you should technically be fine.
Right.
But yeah, it will be interesting to see.
Sure.
I feel like maybe tomorrow even once I get back because I'm not actually here at the moment. But maybe Sunday when I get back in with all of my stuff like my laptop.
Test it out.
Yeah, and maybe we can play like a match of Halo or something on there and just see what happens. So because I think it would be interesting to see how that acts. But I mean, overall, like I said, very very surprised with the experience. So that's my one like.
So far, just one.
Yeah, yeah. So well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, this morning I was on my laptop and I was poking around, doing different features and looking at certain things and stuff like that. And I mean, overall, like it definitely has me excited to use Windows 10.
Sure. I'm still in the same boat too. I really don't use my computer much just to stream and play video games anyway, so it's not like I've really dived into anything more than
Right.
that aspect.
Right, right. But
But
yeah, and well, one thing that was interesting that I found out today because for people who have started using Windows 10 or haven't, you have to there's two different icons on your taskbar. So there's the Windows emblem, which
Yeah, the
is your,
start menu.
obviously to get your start menu, and then there's either the Cortana ring or
Mm-hmm.
the magnifying glass, whichever you have. If you don't have Cortana set up, it's the magnifying glass. If you do, it's the Cortana ring. Anywho, Cortana and or the magnifying glass is your search bar. But I found out this morning if you press start and start typing, it
It
launches you
automatically
right into
pulls it.
search. Yeah, and that's very reminiscent of 7.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's fantastic because I always hate going because again I'm kind of a hotkeys guy.
Okay.
So to get to your search to load up your search, it's just like Windows 8. It's Windows key Q as in Queen.
Okay.
So you press those two down and you get your search bar. Um, you can do that in Windows 10 obviously, or it goes back to Windows 7. You can just press the start key and then just start typing and
Yeah,
boom.
the Windows key.
Yeah, and it's or yeah, excuse me, Windows key, and yeah, and it's fantastic. So
Nice.
yeah,
I did not know about
um,
the Windows queue. I didn't.
yeah. If you just do
Oh
Windows
yeah, you're
Q,
right.
yeah. When Windows 8 came out, I started looking up a lot of hotkeys because again, as you know, there was no start menu in Windows 8. So I was like, well, how the hell do you pull up? How can I just search for apps on
Mm-hmm.
my computer? Because like I said, I'm very like I don't like to keep a lot of things on my desktop.
Mm-hmm.
So I like searching for a lot of things to launch it. So yeah, so once I got into that, I started looking up like just forums, and there was actually like little simple apps on the Windows 8 App Store that were just a guidebook essentially of all the hotkeys. And of course, I learned some hotkeys
Playing
through,
around.
well, that and through schooling.
Yeah, like like the copy and paste and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Well,
and
you
like
were a
once,
computer science major, so I'm sure you
yeah,
learned a lot more than
yeah.
just
So
that.
there's just little cool ones. Like if you hold down the Windows key and use the directional keys, left will move your focused window over to the
Left
um,
pane.
left pane. If you do it to the right, it moves it to the right. If you press, like if your window is focused and it's in full screen, like if it's fully maximized, if you press it down once, it restores it to whatever size it was before.
Oh,
And then
okay.
if you press down one more time, it minimizes it to your taskbar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I mean, just little quirky
Little things.
crap like that, like where to the point where if you used those hotkeys and got used to them every day, you wouldn't need to use your mouse at
Right.
all. Like you could totally, I mean, you could probably navigate your computer.
Just with the keyboard.
Yeah, like I mean, probably 95% of what you do on on your computer, you could probably navigate with just your keyboard, which in some instances is a lot faster than doing three
Yeah,
or so
movement,
mouse clicks,
sure.
like having to move it over and stuff like that. But anyway, that's getting into the it's getting too down into it. So moving along, you and I decided to watch a little bit. We didn't actually finish it.
Right. And
We,
they cropped a lot out.
yeah, so you and I started watching the Gamescom, Xbox Live, or excuse me, Xbox briefing, and Xbox was the one that posted it up on YouTube. So you and I, we got on there and we played it at the same time, so we could be, um,
See it all
yes, we could
together.
be in sync essentially. And they started out, I guess, with was it Quantum Break that they kind of started off with, or was it something else that they did?
Well, they started off with that big trailer
Yeah,
where it
yeah, it was
shows
the
them
trailer.
all, and I think
Yeah,
it might have been. I don't. I feel like Quantum Break was a little bit further in, but it might have been.
either way, so we're watching the gameplay for Quantum Break, and all of a sudden, like it just there's like you can tell there's this big tear of like and crop of time in the gameplay demo. So like we kind of just paused, and you and I are like, oh, okay,
Right? Didn't want to
yeah.
see it
So
anyway. Sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we don't really think anything of it, so we keep watching, and it does it again, and we're like,
And you
okay.
said this was posted by
This is
Xbox?
posted by Xbox, like the official Xbox.
Hmm.
Like, so if we're like, okay, that's really weird. So the gameplay demo ends, and they get the people back on stage, and they're talking and they're talking and they're talking, and then they get cropped, and we're
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, like this is okay. Well, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm like, I kind of get it. Like, obviously, they're wanting to cut down time for like their
For a
upload and
YouTube
things
vid,
like that.
sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure.
yeah. So it just got to the point where it
There
kind of
was a
became
lot cropped. There was a
yeah.
lot
So it kind of
cropped.
became annoying a little bit. Another thing too, which you know, I'm
It's
not
gonna
gonna
be
sit
awesome.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that I could get up in front of a crowd of people that I've never met before. I mean, in school it was different because you somewhat knew everybody. You saw them every day, just about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though you didn't talk to them directly, like you knew some way or like somehow or another like who they were,
Sure.
and but compared to other press briefings or conferences or whatever you want to call them, no one could talk at all
No.
during that conference.
And even if all it was reading from a teleprompter,
Yeah, and like,
and
well, and
you
that's the
could
thing. It's
tell
like,
that was going down.
yeah,
But they
and like that's
still
the thing.
messed up though.
Yeah, and because you can tell when people are looking at a teleprompter, like it's or people that are really good at it can hide it pretty well.
Yeah, they just
These
glance at it, and
people,
it looks like
yeah,
they're
and these
glancing
people
at
were
the audience.
blatantly
Oh yeah, staring
looking
straight down
down
at
at it.
it.
Yeah, and then of course, so the guy for what did they call that?
Blood,
ID
blood.
at Xbox.
Yeah,
So
but
they
the
had
game
this.
was Blood something. Oh no, no,
It doesn't matter.
you're talking
It
about the
doesn't.
awesome guy.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. So this guy, the spokesperson for ID, which stands for Independent Developers, comes out and he's showing all of these independent games that are coming to Xbox platform. But he is so like monotone and just with that he just sounds so sarcastic.
Yes,
So he would introduce a game and
a
he would
trailer
be
would play.
yeah, and he would be talking like this. So he's like, all right, so like this game, it's set up in da 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 land, and you play as da 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 da. Here it is. It's going to be awesome.
That was literally.
And like,
It's
and
gonna
that's
be
it.
awesome.
And then so they would play the trailer, and the first time you and I are like, okay, that sounded kind of like a dick move there.
Yeah, but then he like walks
Really,
out on stage and goes, "Oh, that looks sweet."
yeah. So then they'd show the trailer, and he would come back on. And he'd just be like, "It's going to be awesome. That looks great." There was never an inflection in his tone at all. Like, so it just made him sound like a sarcastic asshole,
Yeah,
like the whole time, and it really hits the wrong way because these are like independent developing games. So like, there's already some sort of like I don't want to say negativity towards, but it's one of those things where like I'm glad indie games are really kicking off and stuff, but it's still not necessarily gaining the traction as like certain AAA titles and things like that. So it almost like really kind of hits hard when a big spokesperson
yeah, your
that
PR person that.
yeah, and it's just like that looks great. It's
Yeah, it
gonna be
it's
awesome.
gonna be awesome. Looks
And
sweet.
yeah, I mean, of course, we just sat there and made fun of him the whole time.
Well, that's what we
Um,
do.
so then, and again, jump in at any time because I feel like I'm running this whole damn podcast.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, so then we got to see this game called Scalebound, which is a
You
blatant.
play a half human with some sort of dragon blood in you.
So the dragon, yeah, you get a dragon companion that you ride
Ride
on,
around.
fight with, and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. However, you made a very good
Observation.
observation, like right off the bat. This is like a blatant
Rip off of
off of
DMC4.
yeah, of Devil May Cry.
Specifically 4.
Specific,
Because for those who played it, you understand, but for those who don't, you play Nero, you're a demon slayer, but you have demon blood in you, and your right arm is a demon arm, okay? So when this Scalebound trailer starts to play, you see this kid, and Nero likes to put his headphones on before he goes into battle, right? Um,
this guy has Beats by Dre
yes,
wireless headphones.
around his neck, like the whole hipster look, and
Now,
then
I will say the soundtrack is badass.
it is awesome. Yes, it is. But then you notice that his right arm is a dragon arm. So
And you can
and it's
also
the
transform
same,
into like
yeah,
a
and
dragon, like you get
Dragon
like dragon
King
armor
thing.
or
Yeah, I
something.
don't know. I mean, like
Yeah,
his
you
whole
stay
body
as
changed, which
yeah,
is
you
just
stay as a
like Devil
human.
May Cry, because
Yeah.
Devil May Cry you go into demon mode, quote
Mm.
unquote. Um, yeah, so that was a rip off, and then what was the other one that we were watching? Oh, Crackdown 3. Oh, there's just destruction, 100% destruction.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So here's my
Battlefield.
thing. So here's my thing with Crackdown. I liked the first one. You know, the first one it was kind of, it was almost like it was that open world game mechanic that like early superhero video games brought, like Spider Man
Okay.
and Incredible Hulk. Like those were all those like sandbox kind of games, and so Crackdown brought that to the table. And in a way, it was pretty much like early superhero games. Like you were just like a cop, and but you had superpowers. But all in all, it was genuinely an entertaining game.
Yeah, see, I
Uh,
never actually picked it
yeah,
up.
Crackdown 2 came out, and again, it was one of those things like where they slapped 2 on the box and shipped it, and it was the same game.
Sure. And then they put in like some beta for like some Halo game or something at the time.
Yeah, it was was it 3 at that time? I think it was Halo 3 at that time when
When it was released. I know I remember Crackdown 2 having this big beta, and that's why a lot of I mean I remember reading articles of people bought it
yeah,
just for
yeah,
the
and
beta.
I'm pretty sure it was Halo 3. So, but anyway, yeah, yeah. So after Crackdown 2 came out and I played it and everything, I was like, and now Crackdown 3 comes out. Looks like they just slapped 3 on a next gen box and are going to ship it out. Now, of course, like you said, apparently their main thing this time around is the destruction, which,
Yeah,
I
everything is
mean,
destructible.
sorry, Battlefield kind of beat you to it like, what,
Yeah, a couple years
over
ago,
5 years ago?
Battlefield Bad
Like, I mean,
Company
well,
had
easily,
destructible
easily over five
environments.
years ago. Maybe even closer to 10 or maybe more. I don't know. That was the thing. It's like, I love how everybody is now like, destruction, destruction, destruction. Not everything has to break.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the realism of crumbling buildings and things like that need to be in all video games nowadays. Like, it
Well,
doesn't
and
matter.
it's like what I said. Like, if the trailer comes out and they say like, you're the city's been overrun with crime, and you're this super cop, and then it goes into that, and then the next pan over, it's like 100% destructible environments, and it shows like you like destroying buildings, and I'm like, okay, so basically you're the main villain because you're
Yeah, you're a
destroying the
cop.
entire city.
Yeah.
It's better to have no city than to have a corrupt city, I guess, is what you're going for. So just wipe
Yeah.
genocide,
No,
wipe
it doesn't
everybody
matter
out.
because they don't have a story. So whether you're a cop or you're a bad guy, it doesn't matter because they're looking for it to sell on the fact that you can just blow shit up. So they're just like, hey, you want to tear down this building? And you know what's funny too? Speaking of Battlefield, so I remember when 4 was coming out, and they had the was it Shanghai map where it
Yeah,
had
with a
this
big
huge
skyscraper in
like
the middle.
I kid you not, the trailer literally showed that building falling the exact
Same
same.
way.
Like, I'm just like, oh my god. Like, I understand buildings fall a certain way. Like, I get that.
Right.
But like at the same time, like you could just tell that it was like almost like just
The building almost looked like the
it did.
skyscraper
Yeah,
in Battlefield.
yeah. And so I don't know. It just it kills me that no one has a shred of originality
Yeah,
anymore.
there's
That's
no more
fine.
innovation.
That's fine if you want to take notes from another game. By all means, do it because there's some things that are absolutely great. But like when you just go and straight carbon copy
Yes.
games, but change just the way that they look, like that's not.
It's not innovative.
Yeah, yeah,
There's I think we talked about this last time, just about how there's so little innovation now in the gaming market. Because we talked about when I talked about the crafting system.
hmm
So, I mean, I don't know about you. We tried not to talk about it too much while we were watching it together, so we could save it for today.
yeah.
I'm not impressed
With
with anything. I am not. This is the first time in a while where I have a console, and I am not excited to own anything. Like, I am not really. The only thing I'm really looking forward to is Halo, and I don't even know why
right,
I'm looking forward to it because the last one sucked so bad. But nothing is like, oh, I need to get that. Ooh, I need to get that. Ooh, that looks awesome. I'm just like, that looks all right. I could probably play that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never, it's not, I mean, maybe it's just me getting older and me
I was
not
gonna say,
being,
yeah, yeah. Is it? Yeah.
but I don't know though. Like,
Well, yeah.
I
And the
don't,
thing
I think
is
even
that
as a kid, I would be able to say like,
well,
okay,
and
well, I
we
don't want that game. It's a blatant ripoff of what I
yeah.
just got
Now I
done
will
playing.
say one game that I am, and this doesn't hold. Obviously this doesn't hold true to what you're trying to get across, but I'm looking forward to Battlefront.
Okay, I
Like
forgot
if we're
about
just
that one. I forgot about that one.
so if we're just talking about games in general that are making us like, and the thing is too, like I was genuinely excited for Batman Arkham Knight to come out. I
Sure.
couldn't wait for that one. Of course, I didn't buy it on Xbox. Bought it on fucking PS4.
Right.
But and then I was excited for Tiger Woods, but of course that was a letdown. But regardless, like I can still feel excited for games. But I think what you're basically saying is like for all of their quote unquote exclusives that they had, you're right. There wasn't really anything that just
If I didn't have an Xbox, after watching that, I really wouldn't care if I
you'd be like,
still didn't have an
okay,
Xbox.
yeah, you'd be like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I
I'm gonna go
remember,
play on my computer now.
yeah, exactly. And I don't.
Which apparently you can buy.
I
If
know
you
that was
really want
actually
a game that bad, you can just buy and play it on your
yeah on the
computer.
Windows 10. That's what I
Yeah.
was. I mean, that was the topic that I put in there. I don't
Now,
know if you saw
with that
that.
said, though, that's pretty cool because, and I think, and I think you caught it more than I did. So correct me if I'm wrong in stating this, but apparently they're doing like what PlayStation did with their Vita and PS and place and like their home console, where if you buy it for
One.
one, you get the other one, or you get use for the other one for free, right? Like I'm
Correct.
understanding that.
You
Okay,
don't
right.
you don't buy just a specific game. You buy the license to that game to use on all your devices.
Right,
So if
right.
you
And
have
that's
a
exactly
Windows 10
what.
and an Xbox, you can play it on both.
Yeah, and that's exactly what PlayStation Vita, like that's what Sony did with the Vita and like a PS3/PS4
Oh, see,
console.
I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah, that's been going, and of course that's been done by
So
Sony.
that's not innovative.
Yeah, that's not innovative. It's
Okay.
already been done by Sony, which of course Xbox also or Microsoft also integrated the free games, which I'm not complaining.
Yeah, because
It's a very
I
smart
like
move.
the free. Yeah.
Very smart. Yeah, very smart move. But yeah. So I'm just glad that we're getting it in general. Like that's very nice that they're doing it. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, oh, Sony did it first. I mean, even though I
Well,
kind of am.
so I
But
guess I'm because you know me, like when I didn't have the Xbox, like I didn't really miss it, but I wanted it because we had become friends after the whole Halo thing. So like we both wanted to experience Halo together, so that's why I went out and bought the Master Chief Collection bundle, Xbox
right,
One again. Um, I'm excited. Well, I guess I'm not excited. I'm wanting to know if how far is this going to go? Is there still going to be exclusive titles just to Xbox One, or do you think Microsoft is going to be like, you know what, we can't afford to just keep doing exclusive titles anymore, so let's just make it so it might be exclusive to Microsoft.
right. And I think that's their direction. If I can talk today, that's what they're gonna. That's
So
what they're gonna
basically, what I should do is sell my Xbox before it becomes a paperweight.
do. Look, man, you do what you want to do. I am going to tell you
What
for
you
your
always
own,
do. You always
yeah,
say keep
do
it.
not get rid of it because
It's paid for, ready to go.
I could be eating my own words like a year from now or less time when something does come out and they're like, oh, hey, we're lazy pieces of crap. We couldn't get it to work with the computer, so hey, Xbox One exclusive. So
True.
and that's very. And if 343 is any indicator, that may very well be a thing that happens.
If they can't port it over
Yeah.
from console to console, I doubt they'll be able to port it to
Which,
PC.
hey, I mean, you want to hang on to your Xbox One console
For Halo.
because, well, I was going to segue because they can, because now or here
DVR.
sometime soon you can DVR all of your favorite shows, and
Here's my thing, though. Okay, we're gonna talk about the DVR because I think it's an awesome upgrade, but
Mhm.
I don't have cable.
right, I don't. It's more of a joke.
I,
than
I,
anything.
I
don't,
stream all my stuff. Right, I knew it was. But for listeners out there, we don't have cable, so the DVR thing that we're getting ready to talk about
cable
does not.
18th
Yeah,
century.
it sure is, and it's way too expensive. But the Xbox Game DVR, I think it's coming out, what they say, 2016, so next year, early next year,
Yeah,
I'm
early.
sure.
Now, with that though, I'm actually really surprised that because I think you and I were a bit wrong last episode because we were under the assumption that the Windows 10 build, Xbox One build was going to be available when Windows
Windows
10
10
came
was released
out,
on the
but
PC.
apparently that's not the case. Apparently now it's that build is coming
November.
out in November
Mhm.
with the Xbox backwards, which also I think it was. If for anybody who has free time, go and watch. Xbox posted it. It's Xbox YouTube channel. Go and watch that briefing. It was to be like I said. I hate to be this guy because I'm not saying that I could run it or do it any better. That was terrible. That was an embarrassing press briefing.
It was, yes.
So they come out and they're like, yeah, Windows 10, Xbox One build November, and then they were like, and also we're not forgetting Xbox One backwards compatibility is coming out. You guessed it, for free. And
Right?
like you and I look at each other and we're like, of course it's going to be free. Why would you? Why would you offer up something like that and then make people pay for it?
Right?
And if you did, no, everyone would hate you.
Oh,
Like that's the thing. Like your
guaranteed.
fan base would be in full on rage mode.
Yep.
And you know what would happen? Sony would come in because you know they're working on it. Sony would come in and be like, "Hey, you know what's not going to be paid for? Backwards compatibility. You get it for free. Boom, we're awesome." And yeah, so I just can't believe that Microsoft even
Put it up
put
there.
in the words,
Free.
"You get it for free."
Yeah.
Like,
Almost like they're doing us a favor.
yeah, like, come on.
You're not doing us a favor. You're doing this because you are so far behind on console sales from the PlayStation 4 and you need some way to sell it. So don't act like this is
Yeah.
a gift to us. Because it's great. I'm not saying that it's not great. Because
Right.
with,
Yeah,
especially if you're a gold member, you get an Xbox One game for free per month, and now you get two 360 games. Yeah,
That's pretty
so
good.
that's awesome. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
it's not. So don't take this
But
as in like I'm bitching. But it's just the way it was presented. It was almost
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah. But
backwards,
I
a
am
backhand
bitching about
slap.
the way that it was presented.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, like way to be like you said, way to be like, oh, like you
Hey,
should give us,
we're
you should
gonna
give us
do
a
this
pat on
for
the back,
you.
'cause- yeah, it's like it's a highly demanded feature, and if you want people to continue to use your service and your products, then
Yeah, you're gonna have to do
sorry,
something
you're gonna have to
different.
do it. Like that's just it.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
So-
excited. I'm excited for the DVR, even though I don't use cable. For the people that don't know what DVR is, it's digital video recording. I think
yeah,
that's what it is.
I,
Yeah,
I like that you question it as you're like, if for those of you who don't know, digital,
right. Like question mark. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, but no.
I've used them before, but I don't. Like I said, I don't have.
Here's the thing,
I don't
though.
have
It's
that.
like while that is awesome, I guess, like we said, I think everyone's getting to the point now where everyone is using other streaming services. Like,
Yes.
I mean,
that people. There's a lot of people that use cable, but I feel like those are the people that don't have an Xbox. You see what I'm saying?
yes and no.
I guess a kid my age. Right,
I mean, there's
a
still
friend
a lot
mine
of people
has it.
that now. There's still a lot of people that use cable. In my opinion, like I don't really see a lot of people using DVR. I mean, because all this content is so readily available online,
Right.
you can just pull it up. Now, I will say,
Yeah, even a lot of providers provide their own on-demand.
yeah. Now, at that point, I'm sure that obviously the convenience factor is great, weighing in on the Xbox, being able to like, boom, there's my show. I know where it's at. I don't have to poke around on the internet to find it. So yeah, by all means, I'm probably just just go ahead and stick my fist right in my mouth and stop talking. But in the end, like, I don't think you and I are the people they're talking to.
Right. I agree too. I mean, because like you said, we have the Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with, well, I guess with Hulu, if you have cable, you can set it up with your cable provider, and then you can get it the next day. It's like a pre-built DVR sort of thing.
mhm. Yeah.
But I mean, I guess the cool thing is about this is just so we can hit on it, so we can actually explain what it does. the cool feature that they added, if you have the Windows 10, you have the Xbox app, you can schedule your recordings from your computer, from your phone. You
Hmm.
can access those saved files and TV shows or movies from your any device, the Xbox app on your phone, your Windows 10 PC, your tablet, your Surface Pro, whatever it is that you have. You can stream it from your home network to that device. So I mean, yeah, it's cool, but now that I'm saying it out loud and I'm talking about it more, when we talked about it last time, we felt that, the Xbox One, quote unquote, the word one there, was for that one entertainment system.
Hmm.
I feel like they're kind of like shooting themselves in the foot again because remember when they did that in the beginning and it failed so bad? And everybody was like, no, just stick with your friggin' games. Like,
Well,
do it right.
I'm sure what they're doing now is they are still trying to deliver on their word for that. But I think what they're doing is right, like you said, they got their feedback initially, and everybody's like, hell no, I want
Yeah, I don't
to.
really care if
This
it
is a gaming
watches my
platform. I want to
TV.
game. So what they're doing now is they're like, okay, guys, here's the games, and then sliding in ever so slightly, like here's a little DVR for you, like.
Right.
Like they're trying to inch their way back into the all-in-one platform so that in the end they can get more consumers
Right.
because they want to be talking to mom and pops over here that love to watch
24.
yeah, and they found a riveting show, and they're like, hey, you know what this device can do? It can save that riveting 24 hours episode that you loved so much, and you can show it at your cocktail hour next week. So again, like I think, and even then, that scenario is obviously shooting a little bit
Well, yeah, well,
up in the
yeah,
clouds
but
for that, but
we
yeah,
understand. Yeah, we
yeah, you get
understand
my
where you're
point.
coming from. Sure.
So So yeah, overall, I think, my opinion on the Gamescom Xbox briefing was a lot. There was a lot left to be desired.
Yeah,
Essentially,
and
I
I
don't
think
think
I'm
that
the
it was.
same way.
I don't think it was executed. It definitely was not the caliber that E3's briefings are.
Right.
Um, it just seemed like a lot of people were not prepared.
Or it
A
didn't
lot of
care,
people,
like the ID guy, like we talked about.
yeah, there were a lot of people that either weren't prepared, they had no real care in the world for what they were doing, where they were at. I don't know. It just seemed like they really
Drop the
dropped the
ball.
ball for that briefing. But
Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, I don't. I'm not. No, I'll just chalk it up to me getting old, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
Because
there's not that twinkle in our eye
no, there's
of
really not anymore. Like literally, like the only thing that I'm excited for anymore is games like Rocket League.
yeah,
And
yeah. And that was a
it's
game
a
that came out of nowhere.
simple game, and I don't need
Yeah.
like these. Like I mean, what was that one that we were looking at? The one that showed like the 4K content, like where it zoomed up in her face, like gameplay, and it showed the
Well,
pores.
that wasn't a game. It was
The
it was
DirectX 12.
yeah, it was DirectX 12 for Windows, which we're gonna get that because we play on computer quite a bit.
Right.
So, and I will say, like that engine
Yeah, and
looks
but
amazing.
but
Like,
immediately I was like, okay, like I really don't care because Rocket League is. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like in the back of my head, I'm
yeah.
like the games that I like to play
I don't
now.
know.
I don't need that, but I mean,
kind of
I want
refuse to
it.
believe. Yeah, I kind of refuse to believe that games like Rocket League are what I strive for now. Though I still want like just in-depth,
Blockbuster
wide-spanning
games.
content. Now I will say, I think it does. I think it does have to be with doing with. I think it has something to do. God, I cannot talk. With being adults, I don't think it's our mindset. It's our time frame.
Yeah, I
Because when you and I get home, it's almost 6:30, close to 7 o'clock my time.
right.
That which means I've got about 2, maybe 3 hours
Of good
uh,
gameplay.
of playing a game, and then I have to go to bed, and then I have to get up for work, and then it's the same thing throughout the day, and then even on the weekends now, where you and I have significant others, we're doing stuff with them.
It's the juggle. It's the
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It's the
yeah, yeah.
man's
'Cause
life
we
of
still, at the
juggling.
end of the day, we still want to have
Person
that
to go into bed
girlfriend or
with,
that
right?
fiance, or we want to have that. So, um, and I feel like even so, like here over the past couple weeks, I've been kind of straddling that line
Sure.
because I'll still like come home and play games with you over the course of the week when I
Hmm.
used to like not I wouldn't even really I wouldn't even really get to see like a video Skype call with you until like Friday
The
night
weekend,
and the weekend.
right?
But now I've kind of started tempting the fates a little bit here and being like, well, what if I go straight in and start playing games, and like I can tell that she's like not fully
Feeling
digging
it, sure.
that situation. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
kind
we
of
don't do it every day, so I feel like there's. I mean, well,
yeah
this week we kind of have.
yeah. This past week we did pretty
So
much
maybe we
everything.
should probably do like 2 days out of the week.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I have enough confidence in her that she will say something.
Right, right,
Like
right.
if it really gets to the point where it's really bugging her and
And
it's
you're just
really
becoming a
upsetting.
loser where you come home from work and just sit in your den all day.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Yeah.
thing is like, two, I think it's one of those things where she hasn't started back at school yet.
Mm,
She doesn't really have. I mean, she's still enjoying her summer vacation, but everybody else is out doing something and things like that. So sometimes she's just kind of stuck here, not having anything to do. And so I think it's one of those things like once I come home, it's somebody that she can interact with, she can talk to, and then I deprive her of that because I'm like, hey, honey, bye, honey, and I just like come in here, and
we raged on Rocket League for three
right,
hours.
right, right. And then she gets to hear me cuss up a storm playing Rocket League. So, um,
But yeah, I think I would agree. Like that, maybe that's just it. Maybe we're just becoming old guys, and
yeah.
like you said, the
But
time frame. It's nice to pop in a game that has 4 minute games, and
now I will say though, but I have enjoyed going back, and I've been playing Half-Life 2. And I will be a man enough to say that this is actually my first time playing through it.
oh,
Like yeah, like when I got Steam and everything like that, like everybody obviously made me aware of, Team Fortress, which I mean I had played Team Fortress right when I got Steam and everything, but everybody else was like Half-Life, and at the time like I would always hear these things outside,
hmm,
right? They'd be like, oh man, like Half-Life, greatest game ever, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Um, but it didn't really strike me until like recently, and it's not even anything to do with the Half-Life 3 stupid BS hype that they've been doing for years and years and years now. But it's one of those things like you've played everything on your Steam library, and you're just scrolling through, and you're like, God, like I need something to play,
right.
and I like scrolled on Half-Life 2, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Like I don't think I ever really gave this game a full chance. Now I've played Portal, love Portal 2. I think you and I need to start playing Portal 2.
Right.
Um, and so I was like, I need to give Half-Life 2 a shot. Um, and so I go and I start playing, and I'm loving it. I
Yeah.
think it's a
I
great
haven't.
game.
I've played it, but I mean, maybe like an hour total.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things where I feel like you definitely should give it more, give it a try, especially for those moments where you can't, where there's not anyone to play multiplayer with.
Mm-hmm.
Great single player game, and it's one of those things where, to me, it's one of those games where you don't necessarily have to be fully dedicated to the game.
Right. Not a
Like you
hundred
can just
percent investment.
yeah, like you can pick it up, you can play it for a little bit. Obviously with it being a PC game, you can pretty much save it at any moment in time whatsoever.
Right.
So you save it, you're gone, and like the thing is that the story is pretty straightforward enough to where after 2 or 3 days you come back, you're not like, oh wait, what was I doing? Like
Sure.
it works pretty well for someone that's on a pretty loose, or should I say a pretty strict schedule, not a
Right.
loose schedule.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much all you and I did this week. We played some Rocket League. We checked in on the disappointing
Gamescom.
Gamescom. Um,
So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we actually made it this 53 minutes. I think we've like,
yeah,
got a lot of filler.
yeah. Well, we talked more about Windows 10.
Yeah, and yeah,
Which again, like with the exception of the mishaps that my desktop is still experiencing, I think overall, like I think Windows 10 is a pretty positive.
I love it
Um,
on both of these PCs, just not the one over
yeah,
there.
yeah. Um, well, one more thing, and then we'll wrap up. So I'm where I'm staying at over the weekend, just tending to someone's place while they're away. Uh, I went to their computer, and because I had reserved them Windows 10, and so I went on there to see if it had gone and done the update for them, and it hadn't. So I pull it up, And it was funny because all through, like, when it was reserved, it did the little splash screen when you clicked on it. It was like, Windows 10 can deliver you this, that, and the other. And so I pulled the splash screen up again, and just in big, bold letters, it's just like, your PC cannot run Windows 10. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I didn't think I'd see that. But what they have is they've got, like, just this little cheapo mini PC that they picked up from Best Buy like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it's literally running a worse graphics card than what's in my laptop.
Woo.
Yeah.
Rough.
'Cause that was the issue. It didn't have a strong enough graphics card.
To get the just the basic like arrow, is that what they still call it? The graphics on the
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, it came up because and what's funny is it has an NVIDIA graphics card in it, but it's got to be like the lowest of low for NVIDIA.
34
Like this is,
MB.
yeah, this is got to be like, this is our first graphics card we ever came out with. Like, I don't know, but I was surprised actually because I don't care to tinker in computers, like especially ones that are like, I mean, I guess so, like kind of store bought computers. I don't really care. I like hearing people's like custom stuff. So, are you muted?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say like
Door opened.
Yeah, it's all right. It got caught anyway, so you might as well just leave it unmuted. Remember, builds character.
Right.
But yeah. So it was one of those things where I didn't really know, and then when it pulled up the little thing, it was like, this is what your issue is, and it was like this little NVIDIA graphics card that's in there, and I was like, oh man, like I didn't know NVIDIA built a graphics card that's so old that Windows 10 can't run on it. So
Right.
But yeah, so I think that's about time to wrap up. So
Yeah.
So you got to hear me rant for probably about 93% of the podcast. So
Hey, last time it was like 90% me, so
yeah,
it's
so
good to keep switching.
We're trading off here. We're trading off.
And
here, but,
if you are listening to this one, you're like, wow, I just listened for an hour and got absolutely nothing new. Hey, sorry, we tried, but we just nothing really
well,
caught.
I mean, there was Gamescom. We talked
Yeah,
about
but
Gamescom
it was how
everything.
crappy it was.
Yeah. Well, now we're either saving people from wasting their time, or we're intriguing people that have the time
to go watch it.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it works out in either way. So anyway, we appreciate you guys listening. Again,
well, let me do the little thing. I'll do
go
it
ahead and do
since
the
you
sign
don't
off.
like
I'll let you do that.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter to get updates when we go live. We are trying to do this every Saturday morning around this exact same time we started, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard, 11 Eastern. So make sure to follow us on Twitter. It's at the Ole Noodle, TheOleNoodle. YouTube, there's a link in the bottom, there's a link in the description. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, shitty shang, everything that you can to help us, get the support we need. Twitch, we are now live streaming all our episodes on Twitch at twitch.tv/theoldnoodle, and that's OLE, not OLD, as in dog. So make sure to follow us there. We are doing like a Twitch chat thing. Aaron and I are actually streaming tonight on my difference channel. It's Twiggy Gaming, TWIGGIE Gaming. We plan on playing Rocket League pretty much all night tonight. If we get enough people in there, I'm going to do a giveaway of Rocket League. So hopefully I can get this up on SoundCloud before we start today.
And then you can play with the crappiest guys.
Yeah, because we suck. Like,
we're
really bad.
We're apparently pretty bad. So which I guess I kind of screwed us over on talking about our Rocket League antics, but we'll save that for next week.
Okay. Well, yeah.
But yeah, because I'm sure we'll probably crop up more stories as the week goes on.
And maybe I can not slack off so much, and I'll get some YouTube vids of us playing Rocket League during the week.
Yeah. So you guys can enjoy some immense cursing.
Yeah.
So if you live a sheltered
moments.
life and you've never heard anybody cuss before, we can help you out.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
pretty much say them all plus some. So yeah, I think that was everything. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
And if not, whatever.
Yeah, if not, we're not going to be that guy.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, once again, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Boy. I'm going to keep this stream going. Pretty good for not having a lot of material.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was